currently just walking the dog in Litchfield Fields near my house. So I just do a bit of documentation of my marathon training. I think I'm currently about week 11 of a long plan. I like a longer plan of a sort of half marathon base to train. I've just got that mentality of liking to be fit before I start, and then also having a good run up in it, get a lot of long runs in. I know some people do it with a lot less, but that's just my strategy. Perhaps we can talk about that a bit later on. So it's Monday morning. Most people are heading to work, but I work the weekend. I work shift work, for those who don't know. And we're just getting moving again after last week was pants. It really was. The ice and the weather just stopped me from getting anything done. We had ice everywhere. It was cold, and then on top of that I had like really bad muscle ache, possibly after a week of skiing, possibly just because I'm unfit, because I did a week of skiing and then a half marathon at the end of it with some runs while I was skiing. As the guys that fixed my run pointed out, it was you spend 51 weeks of the year running and doing whatever it is you do. Then 1 week you go off and train like a professional athlete in skiing. Almost, not quite. There's a lot of sitting around in nice huts, but you know what I mean. You go off and do a major sport for 6 hours a day, and then you wonder why your legs hurt. So I'm going to try and take you with some of my training this week. Be a lot of me talking to the camera. I'm only doing this on my phone, so it won't be brilliant quality. It's something you might find it useful, or inspiring, or some places to run, or some workouts that you find useful. And if anyone does, that would be useful to me to know, so I can put more of that up if that's useful to you. Okay. So first session of the week is a sort of tempo hill rep session. It's not quite either of those things, but we're just getting warmed up in wild as wood, and then Oscar and I are going to go do 3 or 4 laps of a 1 mile hill circuit. It's about 1.5 miles actually. So half of that's obviously running up, and then we go across, and then we drop down the side to recover. And the aim is to keep running steadily through that period, rather than stopping walking, which we do sometimes when we go up to do that. It's a nice one. Oscar can come too. It's not ideal to take him on sessions normally, but this one I'm making an allowance for. He's having a cracking time. So yeah, we're just getting warmed up, get that done. And first lap down, off we go again. Last rep done. Just gotta get down the hill now. Woo! Right, session number 1 of the week is finished. Just having a little walk to give Oscar a bit more time off the lead, really. He doesn't go on the lead when we're going up the hills, but I've just had to put him on the lead while we just went past a load of people on our cool down. So you can have one last little bounce around, and then we'll go get back in the car. Session wasn't too bad. We did 3 laps, which after 4 days of not running, I think was plenty. Probably should be working towards doing 4 soon, but 3 is enough for now, because each of them was quite long. So it's 5 miles in total, including warm up and a tiny bit of cool down. As I had to put the dog on the lead, so it just sort of all became a bit hopeless. So yeah, not bad. For anyone worrying about Rivington, most things on this sort of west facing side have melted, and probably on the south facing side, but I'd probably be a bit nervous if anywhere too much in the shade. There's still a bit of ice about, but by the time I put this up, it probably will be gone because warmer weather is coming. So we're going to go home, and I'm going to do some mobility work because my back's absolutely crock after a weekend at work, and also just, I think it's from skiing actually, but I don't do it, and I should. And as I'm working towards becoming unemployed, I now have a bit more time. So yeah, on Friday I become unemployed for 3 whole weeks, so you're not going to see a typical training week for the next few weeks, because I won't be working like I normally work. Normally I work up to 60 hours, 50, 60 hours a week, though this week it's only 24 to make it balance out. So this week's a light week, though it's all very front loaded, and hopefully by the time of the weekend we can do some nice, more fun runs, me and Oscar. We've got a race Saturday night up here at Rivington. So yeah, so just talk through the week really. So today, as I said, is these sort of tempo hill things. Tomorrow I've got a proper speed interval session, which I'll hopefully talk you through as I do it. And then Wednesday I've got my long run, which is 18 miles this week, which I'm kind of dreading because I haven't done a long run for 2 weeks, and I dread the long runs anyway. But it's got to be done, and it's a road run. It just needs to be done. Get it done. And then probably have Thursday off because I'm working Wednesday, Thursday night. And then Friday I will either get on the bike or take the dog for a nice walk or something cross-trainery, post night shift, depending how things have gone. Saturday morning I'm racing parkrun as part of the Club Champs. It's over at Stamford Parkrun, I think it's called, which is actually over at Staley Bridge. I've never done it before. It'd be nice to go somewhere new. It's apparently quite undulating, but yeah, I just need to set a decent time for the Club Champs because I'm not going to make that many races this year with Brighton training and then Lakeland 50 training. And then Sunday I think we're having our first club run and race of the year, so hopefully me and Oscar can go to that and go for a nice run and then have lunch with people afterwards, which will be lovely. So yeah, we're nearly back at the road, just coming out of Alderswood. I love it here. I do love it here. Yeah, so just a quiet afternoon for me and Oscar. We'll probably go for another walk later. Yes, my dog does need 3 dog walks a day. Yes, it is quite painful at times, especially when you've run 18 miles and you need to walk him again. But yeah, welcome to my life. Right, I'm about to go out for my interval session today. It's quite grey, and it's a bit chilly today. It's probably colder than yesterday, but it's not freezing, it's not snowing, so it's perks on last week. So it's a bit of a longer interval session, this one. Sometimes they just do 30-second sprints, especially I'm short on time. But this week we've got 10-minute warm-up, 2 by 5 minutes at 5k pace with 5-minute recoveries, 3 by 2 minutes at 3k pace with 2 minutes recoveries, and then some 30-second sprints to finish. So it's more like a 50-minute to an hour session by the time I get home. Yeah, these are all set by my coach, Michelle Mortimer. So I can talk to you more about being coached if that would be useful to people. But yeah, I don't come up with these sessions, somebody else does. And now I have to go and do it. So all the bulk of the work is done. I'm out on Wesley Wood line today. I'm just jogging the recovery about 5 minutes just to cool down a little bit, and it's not been a terrible workout. Did walk a few of the recoveries today. I try and walk half a recovery if I'm walking a recovery and then get jogging again, especially because with those 30-second intervals they're so short, you need your legs turning over before they start. But overall, not a terrible session, and once again I need to go home and actually stretch and not ignore it. Right, so I am showered, fed and stretched. Did stretch today, very good. And I have one more job to do running wise today, and that is to plan for my long run. I think a bit of planning for your long run can really save you some heartache and really help you get the best out of your long run. I'm currently training for a marathon, and it's a road marathon down in Brighton in April. So I'm up to about, well, my last long run was 60 miles, and that was 2 weeks ago because of skiing and then the rubbish weather last week. So it's 18 miles this week. To plan my long runs, I like to do a combination of things. So I know my local area quite well. I've been running here for about 7 years now, and so I've got a good idea of where I can run. I've got a good selection of my usual routes that I can tack bits on here and there. I live near a canal. Canals are fantastic running surfaces in Manchester, not everywhere, but obviously just be aware of them if you're running on your own. I also have the loop lines near me, which is really useful. They are cycle tracks that you can run on, and they go for miles and miles and miles. So I'm tomorrow planning to do a lap of various places. I've been using OS maps to help me measure out exactly where I'm going to go. Other places to find long runs, and I think it's always worth planning a route when you're planning your long runs, because I think if you don't plan a route, the temptation is to cut it a bit short or not know where you're going to be. And I think there's something reassuring about having an actual route planned, though it's always good to have a few get outs, especially if you're planning a long trail route. So as I said, for my marathon training routes, I use the canal and I use the loop lines a lot. I also head south into Manchester, though I very rarely run into Manchester itself because of the pollution. When it comes to trail running, I plan my longer runs often either using Strava routes. If you're a full subscribed member, you can do that. But most often I'll have a look at races in areas and have a look at some of their routes, see where they go. So for example, I was training for an ultra last year. I went and did the Silverdale Circuits route because it's a GPX that's readily available online. I could download it and watch. And me and the dog, off we went 20 miles in that day. It was a fantastic day out. Edale Skyline is another one. A lot of local runners will run a version of Edale Skyline because it's a fantastic route, and if you haven't done it and you can do 20 miles on the trails, either walking or running, it's a fantastic day out, it really is. With some really good climbing, but also some absolutely incredible views. So things like that, long distance trail footpaths with train stations at either end make a fantastic day out for a long run if you've got the time to do them. I'm short on time tomorrow and I'm doing a road marathon anyway, so it's just going to be straightforward, simple track runs on good footpath that mostly emulates the tarmac that I'm going to be running on for the marathon. Having a little bit of a debate whether I need to do more tarmac running, even though it's solid footpath on the canal where I am and solid underfoot on the loop lines. I think sometimes they are a little bit more soft than proper tarmac. So maybe I should do a bit more tarmac running, but we'll see. So aside from a route plan, tonight I'll also pack up my vest because I need to go early tomorrow. So a couple of gels and some water. I will be taking my phone with me. I've got to charge my watch, charge my headphones, and make sure there is no excuse for me not to go tomorrow. Fingers crossed. It's a few minutes to 8 and I'm just about to head out for my run. Today is long run day. I absolutely dread the long run. I don't know why. I do know why. There are many reasons why it's a hard run. 18 miles is a long way. I've got my kit bag, only just so I can carry water with me and a few gels. It's just the most easy way to do it for me, though everyone has different preferences, belts, pockets, whatever. And yeah, I am going to head up towards Lee at a steady jog and see if I can get around this 18-miler. 7 miles in, I am struggling a bit today, so I'm just going to take a pause. Normally I try and do continuous running on my long runs, but today I'm just going to admire the view for 5 minutes. So I've completely given up now. Okay, I've got to 15 miles. My legs were cramping this time, like on and off. My canals was like run, walking. So I got myself a hot chocolate at Worsley and I'm now walking home through the woods, and I guess I'll have to do the last 3 miles either as a separate run or just write them off this week and just accept that perhaps the pace is going to have to slow down a bit. I have possibly got an injury. That's just life sometimes, isn't it? And probably see a physio. Welcome to the first day of unemployment. So I'm just taking Oscar for a walk after my night shift. We are going to go for a long walk somewhere. I haven't decided where. I'm been really indecisive actually because of the sign I'm tired. But yeah, I no longer have a job for the next 3 weeks, which is actually quite a nice thought. I am no longer a registrar. But yeah, I took yesterday off as a rest day, and then Oscar and I are going to do some walking today. If I'm really good, I'll get on the bike, I'll do some core work later, but I'm struggling with that. And we're trying to forget all about... He's eating something. I'm not even thinking about it. Yeah, I'm trying to forget about the long run on Thursday that didn't go so well. Thursday, Wednesday. I still did 15 miles of mostly running, and then 17 miles with some walking, so it's not the end of the world. And yeah, we're going to enjoy a weekend of racing and social running. Good morning. It's parkrun morning. I've had a bit of a shocker. I've had to stop to tie my shoelace 4 times. He's been a bit of a pain in the backside, and my trousers were falling down. But it's a club champs race over at Stamford Parkrun, so we weren't going to miss it today. We're now just waiting for Brian and Hannah to finish. I don't think Sarah made it in the end. Small turnout today. I've got to work on getting a few more girls, particularly back into the Black Sheep. So good for the air. But we've got another race tonight. Just me, not Oscar, over at Rivington. So we're going to have a bit of a chilled afternoon. Oscar and I are just off to meet some friends for a run today. It's the club run and race for the month. We are over at New Mills. I'm completely lost because we've parked somewhere different, but we'll go and find everyone, and hopefully we'll have a lovely bit of a trail run today at a steady social pace.